message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
Hold on a second, I gotta pee.
Yeah, go pee. I'm going down. I'm yelling timber. Let's see if he heard that. Boom, boom, ba-da-bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum, ba-da-bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-bum. I said no questions.
All right, let's do this because I want to eat some food.
Yeah, no worries. My mic stand is
What does your shirt say? Sex Baboms?
Sex Babam.
Sex Babom?
Yeah, you know what that's from?
Babom? Well, I know the Baboms are from Mario Brothers, right?
Right. But it's a mixture of Sex Pistols and Sex Bomb,
Well,
Sex Babam. It's from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Oh, interesting.
That was his band. We are Sex Babam. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
Erik Nagel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of It's Erik Nagel. That is myself. Over in the Upside Down, that would be Giddles.
Hey, what up, everyone?
And this is the program here. Phone lines are open. 651 Smithers is the phone number to call. 651-764-8437 to get in touch with the program, as people call this. They call it the program.
Why do they call it that, Eric?
Because we don't have enough money to afford an R to go with it.
Are you serious about that?
We can only do one R in program. If we could afford two R's, we'd be program. But until that happens, we're the program.
So how did we afford the one R there? Why didn't we go program?
It came complimentary with the set.
Yeah. We couldn't choose which R we wanted. I think program would have been better, even though that sounds like we're more like programma.
But that's how
that works too.
That's how it was assembled when we bought it.
I'm programma. They give like pies and shit.
Yeah.
Like, eat some pie.
Well, that's a whole other set of circumstances.
Program.
But anyway, social media for the show. It's Erik Nagel across the board on all the social media platforms. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and tell two friends so they can tell two friends, etc. Thank you very much. Lots to talk about on the show today. We have a bunch of updates as far as E3.
Oh yeah, a lot
is
of
going
stuff
on
there.
this week. Our buddy Brian Shea is down there. We're not going to talk to him this week. We're going to try to get him on next week to go through some of the stuff in the rundown. But for now, I've been paying close attention to a lot of these things, and I jotted down some of my favorite game development and releases that I find interesting, and some that seem a bit ridiculous. But that's the fun of E3. You sit there and go, who wants a game like that? Or, oh my God, I want a game like that.
There's so many games.
Right.
So many games.
So many games.
So what were some of your favorites?
Well, we'll get into that in just a second. And then we have like we said, we have a bunch of E3 stuff to get into. We have some movie and TV updates that we need to tell you about. And before we even get into the E3, I got to talk about this ad that I heard today. And it's probably one of the dumbest fast food tie-ins that I've ever heard of.
Okay.
Now, whenever a popular movie or franchise comes out, more times than not, they have a tie-in to a fast food franchise, especially if it's a Disney movie or a Pixar movie or a Marvel movie or something that might target kids and younger people. You'll definitely have a tie-in to a Wendy's, to Burger King, McDonald's, of course, or if, depending in certain areas, maybe they do Checkers because they couldn't afford the big dogs.
Yeah.
Or KFC, something weird like that. But the new season of Stranger Things is coming this summer. It's only a few weeks away, July 4th.
Yeah, it's coming 4th of July.
Yeah, it's coming out 4th of July. And they've already been pushing a bunch of different tie-ins. Now, we have talked about on this show in the past that they're bringing back New Coke, which was a marketing decision that the Coca-Cola company made in the 80s, where they were going to change the formula of Coca-Cola and thought that this was going to taste better and people were going to love it. And Bill Cosby was one of the biggest stars in the world at the time, so they got him as the spokesperson to push the new Coke, and they really spent a lot of money on this big, aggressive advertising campaign. And the soda comes out, and everyone hates it. Now,
I never got a chance to try it.
There was a lot of people that were so displeased that they had to kill it off for the most part. It still was lingering around for a little while, but they had to kill it off for the most part and bring original Coca-Cola back. And it was relabeled Coca-Cola Classic. Can't
See, it's so stupid
thing.
that they just replaced it. Like, they should have put it out as a supplementary Coke. You know what I mean? Like Coke 2 or something like that.
Coke 2, the supplemental.
Yeah, the supplementary Coke. You know, it's not the bread and butter of your fucking company. You're not going to be like, who does that?
Yeah, Coca-Cola, the deuce.
Yeah.
So they came out with new Coke, and it was this big push. Like, Coca-Cola was going to go in a brave, bold new direction, and the consuming audience said, "Oh no, you're not. This is garbage." And they had to bring back Coca-Cola in a big, big way. The original Coca-Cola Classic. So it was always labeled as one of the biggest blunders in food product history.
Yeah.
You know, up until that point, until Crystal Pepsi came out in the mid 90s there, New Coke was the one to beat. And boy, did Pepsi step up to the bar and go, oh watch this. Watch what we do now.
Here, hold my New Coke. Watch this.
By the way, I read something about Crystal Pepsi. So remember, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, they brought back, 2 or 3 years ago, actually, they brought back Crystal Pepsi because there was a demand and there was a big push. It was in the stores, and I kept seeing it in the stores because people would drink it, buy one for nostalgia, and then realize, oh yeah, I don't remember liking this ever.
It's not good.
No. And I was reading up on it, and I forgot about this. Saturday Night Live did a bit called Crystal Gravy.
Yeah.
And it was just horrible goop that they were pouring over turkey and meatloaf, and if it was brown gravy,
like corn syrup.
Yeah, if it was brown gravy, you would think, "Oh my god, this is delicious. I want it." But because it was this white, like gelatin-looking substance that was clumpily being poured on top of these food products, everyone thought it was horrifying and disgusting. I read a piece that actually helped contribute to the sudden decrease of enjoyment for Crystal Pepsi. Outside of the taste being not good, that skit really turned so many people saying this is completely disgusting, and Coca-Cola, Crystal Pepsi just tanked shortly after that. Oh yeah,
because like, how could you not think of that every time you're drinking a Crystal Pepsi?
All I think of is Crystal Gravy.
Oh, gross.
So gross. Anyway, so the reason why we bring this up is that New Coke was a big blunder in the 80s. It was a really big deal. Now they're bringing it back because where Stranger Things is now set in their timeline is the summer of when New Coke was being developed and pushed out into the markets and the supermarkets for everybody to consume, the big marketing push. So Coca-Cola has a deal with Stranger Things that they've put out New Coke again as a tie-in for Stranger Things. Now, I have not seen it in the stores. I've only seen it available on the Coca-Cola website.
So, like, what's the point of that then? Like, no one's going to go to the website to order. I mean, I'm sure a couple people will, but like, I would want to buy that at a store. Why would they do that?
I don't know. I've been looking for it.
Because there's like a million other tie-ins already with it. Why not just have yours at the same time? Like, put it out in the stores.
Look, I mean, I get it. I really do. I get it because it's
you know what
around
this means?
This
means I could buy a whole bunch on Amazon, then set up a table at the park and just sell it.
And sell New Coke. Well, on the Coca-Cola website, you can buy cans of it right now. I reached out to Coke. I sent them a note to see if they'll send us some to try it out.
Yeah, I'm going to put out an ad. I'll just say I'm going to be at the table selling Coke in the park. Come get it.
Right. Well, there's a whole page. It's a tie-in thing. The graphics on the website look like, you remember when the Commodore 64 had a printer?
Yeah.
And it was just green and red, and all everybody ever did was just make Christmas cards because it was green and red ink.
Yep.
on that printer. Well, that's what this website looks like. It looks like it was printed out on the Commodore 64 printer. And you can buy the new Coke. You can buy these little gift packs of the new Coke. But they also have new Coke apparel. So you can get a T-shirt that says New Coke, and it says "The best just got better," which I think was one of the slogans they used.
Yeah.
And that quickly went away when it was a disaster. There is a 80s style hoodie that you can pull over that is a light blue and neon pink version of the logo with a triangle kind of thing. It says Coke instead of Coca-Cola. Like, they changed the font, they changed the whole look because they didn't want to be Coca-Cola. They wanted to be Coke. Like, which in the 80s, Coke was huge, but not the soft drink, So it's like, we're going to tie
use the straw.
There
were a lot of similarities.
We're going to tie into the big Coke craze of the 80s. Did anyone have a meeting on this? That's not what it meant. This is not what we're tying into. Oh my God, we've made a huge disaster.
Yeah.
So they have that, and then they have Coca-Cola themed shirts that look a bit Halloweenish because they're black, gray, and white with red for the logos, and they're also tied into Stranger Things. You see the kids on their bikes, and then you see one that looks like the side of a hill and just shadows, but you don't see the people, but in the shadows you see people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, that's not a bad tie-in, right? To this thing. Even though it's an old failed product, but bringing it back in a nostalgia sense with this, kind of get it, kind of clever, and it works.
Makes sense.
Yeah, if it's going to be featured in the show because it's that time period, why not? Makes sense, and Coca-Cola might get a little hit off of it. No sweat off their brow. Then you have what we call the alternate kinds of tie-ins. And I didn't understand this at first until I saw the full-length trailer. Because, like we said, with movies and TVs and things like that, they go to Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, things like that. You don't think Baskin-Robbins, right?
No.
But then I saw the full trailer, and I guess part of this season is one of the characters is working at an ice cream shop in this brand new mall that opened up in, where is it, Hawkins, Indiana? Where they are, right? This big new gallery kind of mall for the 80s, and the one kid is working at the ice cream thing. So they tied it in with ice cream to Baskin-Robbins, and they had two products. One was called, you said, the Lemonade Freeze.
Yeah, there's an lemonade freeze, which is like a lemonade frozen beverage.
Right.
So it's kind of just like a Slurpee. I'm assuming that's what it is.
Okay. And then what was the other thing they had?
The other thing they had was the upside down brownie sundae, where it's, a scoop of ice cream at the bottom with, the whipped cream at the bottom and then a brownie on top of it. Like, ooh, fancy. But, they're trying to get whatever marketing they can.
Anything with upside down. Let's just reverse our product. It'll be genius. Let's just do that. No one thought of that until now.
Yeah.
Because this all comes back to the commercial that I heard this morning for Burger King. There we go. One of the top tier fast food places. Burger King is going to be putting out the upside down Whopper.
So what is that?
When you get a Whopper, obviously bun. Meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and then ketchup. I don't know if the Whopper has mayo on it like the Wendy's burgers do, but let's just say ketchup, right? You have the Whopper with the sesame seed bun on the top. Well, everything in the middle is just going to be reversed. So the burger's on top, everything else is below it because it's the upside down Whopper.
Do you think it's going to taste any better, Eric?
It's going to taste flame broiled.
Exactly the same.
It's going to taste flame broiled because I'm going to have it my way.
You know what? I think that would be a perfect side-by-side comparison for the consumer. You could eat one upside-down Whopper and then eat another Whopper and, compare the differences, the subtle differences.
And the ones I don't like, I throw against the glass in the store before they call the cops and I have to leave.
Exactly.
So
one Whopper for the copper.
It's an upside-down version of their sandwich. Now, if you look online, they have a trailer video for it. Where they have the logo and the font that Stranger Things has, and they have a photo of the burger just sitting upside down. Now, how I said I thought the Whopper burger was going to be, I'm now looking at this and I'm completely wrong.
Oh, you're wrong. Okay, so it's not just they just put it in a different order. What is it?
They put it in a right order,
Oh.
but the burger is served to you upside down.
They just put the burger upside down.
It's upside down. I'm looking at the
What?
I'm
Hold
looking
on
at
a
the
second.
I'm looking at the promotional video for it
I
right
have
here.
to fucking do some Google research here. Upside down Whopper. That's it? It is just upside down.
See? That's what
This
it
is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Right?
I've seen some stupid shit.
How much do you think they had to pay to buy into the Stranger Things?
Like this is something you'd see on like The Onion. You know what I mean? Like this can't be real.
It's real. It's on every
I know. I'm looking at it.
It's on
I'm
every
trying not
business
to
site.
laugh.
It's on every credible news site. This isn't a joke.
I know. I like the old Burger King like cups and stuff like that. I like the old logo. But the upside down burger is awful.
If they really wanted to bring it back to that time, so say because of the tie-in with New Coke. Now here's the thing. Burger King is owned by Pepsi.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they have a Coca-Cola tie-in if Burger King is owned by Pepsi.
Dude, everyone's just trying to get their hands in the upside down, man. They're just trying to get all that money.
Yeah, well, they're invading on your territory with you being in the upside down.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have any money.
And you're not getting a dime from all of this.
Nope. But I do make ice cream sundaes upside down when I slip and drop them.
And then you serve it the right side up and say, nope, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yes. That's my shoe.
The Whopper meal here, if they were going back to the 80s, like you see the design on the cup, like you said,
Yeah.
and say they had a deal with Coke. So if Burger King's selling Coke, you get the new Coke with the meal. Okay,
Burger
cool.
King is
Still getting the
selling
tie-in, right? What'd you
Yeah.
say?
No, the way you just said if Burger King was selling Coke, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Well, it's the 80s.
It's just sounded funny.
It's the 80s. You know, it's a different time. That's how it was back then. They should serve the burgers in the styrofoam containers.
Yeah, but there's a ban on that. You can't just serve them in the styrofoam containers anymore.
There's not a ban on them.
In New York City, there is.
Oh, there is? Well, that's not true. I've seen tons of the street food people where they put all their stuff in styrofoam flip containers.
Well, they're breaking the law. Like it's a law now. You're not allowed to give those out.
I had no idea. I mean,
Yeah.
good. It's an environmental disaster using styrofoam, but I'm sure they have warehouses of these old styrofoam containers where they're like, hey, look, they're actually authentic. They're from that time period. They didn't biodegrade because they don't do that. Let's put them back into circulation and try to make some money off of
Just
this
wash
stuff.
them off.
Well, they're probably still in the bag sitting in like a Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of warehouse at the end. They just go and open some crates and go, look, the original Burger King styrofoam containers are here. Let's just do that.
Remember when like McDonald's and them were trying to like when they first started phasing out the styrofoam, and before they got like those paper clamshell boxes,
Right.
They would just wrap the burger with like that piece of cardboard around it,
The crown
like,
around
it. Was like
yeah.
Yeah, it was like a collar that would come on your shirt. You know, you like you have to take it off. It would just hold the burger there so you could wrap it so it wouldn't fly all over the place.
Yeah. I remember
But
that.
all the lettuce and the cheese would always stick to it, and it was always a mess.
Well, back at that time, too, when they were doing that, the McChicken sandwich at McDonald's. I always enjoyed the McChicken sandwich. And if I still have to go and eat at McDonald's at some point, you know, if we're stopping there or if it's just something on the way, whatever, I will always go for the McChicken sandwich. But the McChicken sandwich, when it came out, if you look at the old ad, was huge. It was big as a Big Mac or a Whopper. Like, it was a big sandwich.
Big ass sandwich.
Now it's a tiny sandwich that they charge you $2 for. But when you used to get the McChicken sandwich, it had that cardboard ring around it to keep all the lettuce from falling out.
Yep.
Because there was a ridiculous amount of lettuce on these sandwiches for no reason other than that's what they just thought was appealing for a chicken sandwich.
Yeah, it's healthy. That's what the chicken would eat.
Bring that back. I would like to see that.
Lettuce? Just copious amounts of lettuce on sandwiches.
No,
bring that
a
back.
bigger chicken McChicken sandwich. A bigger size McChicken sandwich.
Put that out there, man.
Should. Oh,
Hashtag that shit. Bigger chicken sandwiches.
Bigger McChicken sandwich. speaking of
But
McDonald's,
like, who's next? Who next is gonna get on this upside down craze? Though I'm just picturing like Domino's. Hey, we just put the pizza in the box upside down, and then they just bring it to your house, and there's just sauce and cheese all over the place.
I was just going to say like Papa John's or Pizza Hut, and you went.
Yeah, we just put it in the box upside down. That would be fucking hilarious.
Or what they do is they put the sauce and the toppings down, and then have the cheese on top of it, like Chicago style. So if you serve it New York style, it's technically upside down.
I mean, you could do that, or you could put it in the box upside down and make a fucking mess.
Right. And they always blame it on, I kind of took the corner too fast. Well, you're going to go back and make me another pizza.
This is your upside down pizza. This is viral marketing.
That's how they should do it, because if they screw up your pizza, they can't be held responsible for it. Nope, that's the promotion. That's how it comes.
The promotion.
That's what
I would eat the one though with the topping on the bottom and the cheese and sauce on top. I'd eat that.
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Great.
The problem with Chicago pizza, it is good, but it's just there's so much of it. It's cake like. It's so.
But you just do like a regular thin crust, and you just do like a thin layer of toppings.
Yeah, you do it Chicago style, just don't make it Chicago size. You do the New York size, but build it in the Chicago style, where it's layered with the cheese melted on top and locking it in.
So what style would you call that?
Upside down Stranger Things pizza.
Oh, okay.
This one.
I was trying to think of like a cross between New York and Chicago pizza. But I guess upside down Stranger Things pizza is a good name.
Newchago.
What? It sounds like a shitty villain from an 80s action movie.
We can't call it
Newchago.
You can't call it Chicork.
Chicork. Hey, where are you from? I'm from Chicork.
Yeah, Chicork.
Chicork.
And then you order the 11 pizza, and it comes with 11 toppings. It's a $27 pizza, but you got 11 toppings.
And you can tie it in with KFC, and you can have the 11 herbs and spices, and they put KFC chicken on top.
All right. Why didn't they go with KFC? The 11 herbs and spices.
They could have done that.
It could be. It's just her all possessed, holding a chicken, and then all of a sudden it turns into fried chicken because of the energy that's in her. She just stands there and grabs a chicken, and then puff, it's a meal. It's a complete meal with sides and biscuits.
They just shape the chicken fingers like the demi-gorgon, so there's like 4 of them like that, and the dipping sauce in the middle. And you just take the chicken finger, you dip it in the sauce, but it's like kind of makes its face. You know what I mean?
Giddles, she could be like Jesus. Instead of turning water into wine, she turns chickens into a complete KFC, a $5 KFC box or whatever it is, the $20 family meal.
I have no idea what that has to do with Jesus, but yes, that sounds like a great idea.
It's just by turning one thing into another. It's almost magician-like. She could,
just turning one thing into another turns you into Jesus.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what he did.
Well, I just turned a chicken into a cooked chicken in the other room, so I guess I'm technically.
Jesus turned water into wine by waving his hand like Don the Magic Wand, over there in the like in the Fantastic Voyage or the Doggy Dog World videos, where he just waves his cane and shit happens. Does a sleight of hand with the bread to make it holy Eucharist.
Yeah, but you're saying like anything that changes now, that's just Jesus. That's what it is. That's
Jesus
thing.
Jesus was
Jesus thing.
That was a Jesus thing. Yeah, he did it first.
It's true.
He did it first, so he's got to get the credit for it. So if she just stands there and holds a chicken, and then all of a sudden, poof, feathers go everywhere, and she's got a complete meal, a family value pack from KFC, with 2 large sides and 6 biscuits, like this is a great deal.
Yeah, that is.
All
for $11.
Yeah, $11. The 11 herbs and spices for $11, and she's just standing there very magical in a really creepy poster with a chicken fearing for its life, and then it's like one of those 3D things. You move to this angle, and boom, now she's got a tray like she's the Colonel.
Yeah, it'll feed all 11 of your family members.
What if she is the Colonel? They always change the Colonel up. What if 11 becomes the Colonel?
I don't know, man. You're taking it too far now.
This is all the product tie-ins.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, I like the KFC Pizza Hut upside down chicken finger pizza. That sounds pretty good.
Kentucky Fried Demi-Gorgon.
Hey man, you can fry it, I'll try it.
Maybe there's those demi chickens or like cuckles.
Demi chicken, like a quail.
Yeah, the demi chicken. Well, in the upside down, you had the demi dogs. Remember the last season?
Yeah, that's true. They were demi dogs. But like, imagine a little demi chicken with a little head, like a 4-piece head,
cock
with a side of biscuits.
Right. Cockle demi do.
Cockle demi do. Cockle demi don't.
Finger looking good. Demi looking good.
No.
Yeah, I can't think of anything with that.
I'm sure there's something. It'll come like
But
by
KFC
the end.
does seem to be the thing that's been missing here. That should be a good tie-in for it.
But you never know. There's still 2 weeks. Anything can happen.
But our luck, it'll probably be some kind of shitty Subway tie-in where it's like, oh, Subway spent all this money. Well, what is it? Well, it's really just one of their sandwiches renamed by something in the show, and all the big push is just that they're on one of those peel stick'em signs on the window and and the mat on your tray, and that's it. That's all Subway did, and they spent.
Dude, those are the worst tie-ins when it's just nothing. It's just like a picture on a menu. It's like, wow, that's it. I get nothing.
Oh, look, it's Ron Burgundy holding a meatball sub. That's all. It's like Subway's not even in the movie.
I kind of want a meatball sub now.
Who doesn't? If you get a meatball sub on garlic bread,
that's cheating because it's so delicious.
But
like you can get I get that at pizza places here. Like sometimes if I'm feeling really fat, I'll go to the pizza place. Can I get a meatball here on garlic bread? And they kind of look at me like
you're
when Apu has to make the all syrup squishy. Like I don't know if the machine can take this. They look at me like that, but then they make it, and then they're surprised when I come back.
Yeah. And it can't be making the garlic bread as you're cooking the meatball sub in the brick oven or in the regular oven. The garlic bread has to be made, buttered, garlic, everything ready to go. Then you put the meatballs, the sauce, the Parmesan on top of it, and the mozzarella. Then you bake it.
Because otherwise it won't be like crispy bread. It'll just be soggy butter bread, which is also delicious.
You need the garlic to be cooked separately before adding the meatball part to it.
Dude, I used to do that in like high school on like Meatball Hero Day.
Right.
Because they would have like the pasta sauce. And I would have them put the butter on the roll first, and then I put the tomato sauce, like the meatballs on it.
As you should. As one should.
It's the only way you could eat those disgusting high school meatballs.
If anything, you're doing it's detrimental to society by not doing it that way.
Exactly. I attribute that to why I like to cook, mixing things up.
And making it delicious. By the way, Stranger Things out on Netflix July 4th. Moving on.
Did you watch Black Mirror yet?
I did. But before we get into that, did you watch Chernobyl yet or no?
No, I have not watched Chernobyl yet, but I hear it's great.
Well, a couple of things to update you with Chernobyl. I love actually seeing when the show, because it was 5 episodes over the course of 5 weeks, and seeing people talk about it and people yelling spoilers and other people yelling, it was fucking history. It's already been out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, they did the 5 episodes, 1 hour each on HBO here in the United States. And shortly after, the Russian government denounced that show, saying that the American version changed too many facts of the story.
Yeah, I heard that.
So they were saying that's not how it went down. We don't know everything. And that they announced that programming over in Russia is going to make their own limited series special of the events of Chernobyl. Okay, cool. I'd like to see how I would always love to see how the other side presents something of an issue. Like, what is their take on it, or what is the spin, or what have they been telling their people and saying that this is really what happened, right? So they're going to put this out. Now, before we found out what their version is, what they're saying is the reason for the explanation.
So, but they're actually doing it, right? This isn't just like, hey, they said they're doing it, but they're not. Like they're actually making it.
No, I saw it on both NBC and CBS News.
Oh, damn.
They were doing a piece, and they said that they got word that there's a production company over in Russia that they're going to put out their own version of the events of Chernobyl, which I gladly would like to see how they interpret it, or what they think that actually really happened, or what they believe, or not believe, what they tell people actually happened.
You know what they're going to tell people actually happened? They're going to say it was U.S. spies who were inside Chernobyl who helped to cause it to melt down. And then they're going to say this was all the Americans' fault.
You are 100% right.
Because that's exactly what they're going to do.
I was watching the NBC News piece on it, and they said that they claim that it was a CIA operation that made Chernobyl explode.
Yep.
That it was our doing. not due to negligence. It was spy tactics and sabotage.
Yeah, I learned that from watching a horror movie about like Chernobyl.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was the horror movie about that.
Yeah, there's like a found footage like type movie.
Yeah,
and they like mention it briefly in there. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, that might have happened.
Over at the other place, we were talking about it, and somebody called in and said, "It's like you won't believe the ridiculousness of what I had to grow up with over in Russia, and what they tell you are the answers to Russian history, and then you leave Russia and you find out that it's completely wrong."
Yeah,
right. And that was one of the things too, that they blame American CIA operations for causing the Chernobyl disaster. And trying to sabotage the Soviet Union in order to end the Cold War. I was like, such bullshit. Anyway, so yeah, that's how their series is going to be played out. But then finally, was it Inside? There's a online news source called Inside.
Okay.
And they put out a video of 13 things that were wrong with the Chernobyl miniseries. Now, some of the things they pointed out, what didn't mean they were wrong. It's just when they took liberties in order to move the story along and tell things. So there's some characters that are in or that are featured in this history piece that didn't exist. But what they were compiled of different people at the time, different heads of departments or government or whatever.
Yeah.
Mixed into one person in order to move everything forward and get a clearer view of these things happening, right? So they were saying, well, see, this wasn't accurate because this character didn't exist and he didn't really do this. No, but somebody else did this and then somebody else did that, and those two put together into this one person did that. Fine. Nobody's arguing over that. It's just a way of telling a story and moving on. Then they were saying, well, this thing with the helicopter, which is a very famous scene where they have a helicopter that's trying to drop water and chemicals on top of the open core, right? And you're supposed to have the helicopter in a way where it drops the water, but in a momentum that'll go on the core and not be directly over the core because the radiation's so bad. And what happened is in the series, you see a helicopter flying into the black smoke that's over the core, and then they lose the helicopter, and all of a sudden you're hearing a noise, and it starts falling out of the clouds and then lands and crashes, right? And they say,
spoiler alert.
They said that didn't happen. And he goes, that happened a week later. And I'm like, oh my God. So it didn't happen at the time they turned it. It happened a week later. And it didn't happen directly like that. It happened right next to it. Close enough.
But it happened.
It's close enough. They're not lying by, making little differences like that. They're not lying about the story, about what happened. It's such small little details that don't mean anything. Also, they were saying that black smoke that was shooting up from the exposed core wouldn't have been black because of the water coming off the rods and everything down there.
Vapor.
It would be a heavy, white, dense steam, vapor cloud coming up through there. Wouldn't be black, yes, but you wouldn't be able to see a lot of it, especially at certain times of the day with doing everything. So it was black for dramatic effect. So if anything, okay, fine. It wasn't black toxic smoke. It was white toxic smoke. Happy? There. And the rest of the stuff they were pointing out really was inconsequential to the entire story and the events at hand. It was just little things they switched off here. Yeah, it was very nitpicking. So then it turns out that it wasn't just Chernobyl. I mean, Chernobyl was the one that malfunctioned, but there were 10 other reactors throughout Russia that were made by the same design, same equipment and everything that were on the verge of doing the same exact thing because of the safety protocols and the mechanical protocols were not up to date and were not enforced at a level that would prevent these things.
Yep.
So they showed the history of it where they said the Russian government denied that it was an issue. It was just it was a minor explosion, that it was taken care of. The core was fine and intact, whatever. Then as time was going on, they were saying, nope, the core is exposed, but it was maintainable. We put the fire out. Everything's going to go good. They were denying to the UN and to the world and that everything was fine. Nothing's going on here. And then because technology at the time, this was the 80s, you had planes that could fly over and actually, videotape surveillance to see what the fuck is going on. And as Germany, as England, as the United States, we're all getting this information back saying, you're fucking lying. We can see what's going on here. Then it took them forever to finally admit that, yes, this thing had fucked up. And that took months. Like, imagine that shit happening now.
Oh, immediately. I feel like all the nuclear reactors in the world are on like some sort of like circuit now, so like if any of them go out.
But even if they're not, like even if there's some stuff that you couldn't get access to for the public, everyone has a fucking drone. If they're like, we're not going to let you know. Well, you know what? Some high school kids nearby are going to hop in the woods and throw their drones on there. And guess what? They're live streaming it on YouTube right now and gotcha.
Yeah, they beat you to it.
Yeah. You can't hide from this shit.
You can't hide anything anymore.
But anyway, Chernobyl. It's a good series. If you haven't seen it, it's available on HBO. Outside of the country, I don't know what services it might be available on, but look for it. It's pretty good, 5 episodes. Now, I brought up Chernobyl for this point. Because of this series, tourism to Chernobyl has increased over 40%.
Of course.
People are now going there because of seeing the show. There are people who are going there are internet influencers. Instagram, YouTube, blogs, whatever they do to think that they're influencing people. It's just codes that I don't have any skills or talent. I'm not going to work, but I'm going to take photos to show you things that you don't give a fuck about and try to convince you that you need to give a fuck about these things because I told you of it.
If you want to go there and be exposed to radiation, I'm like, go for it. I mean, that's what
I'm
you
all
want
about
to do.
that.
That's what you want to do. Go for it. I'm not trying to stop you.
Thank you. So you jumped ahead a little bit, but we're right on point with this. So all these people were going to Chernobyl. They're booking tours and package deals because somebody over there said the radiation levels are low enough that people can go on tours to these things. But it's not completely gone. So you going there, you're going to see these apartments that are in pristine condition from when the people left. You know, you're going to see these places of things that have not moved and cars that were abandoned and structures that have wildlife and vegetation that overrun it because people haven't lived there in 30-something years, right?
Yeah.
Untouched by man until now because they're taking selfies. And they're live streaming like near the reactor site because they have this big metal hangar that cost a ton of money to build over the core site, so that this way it's supposed to last like 100 years. This big heavy metal airplane-looking hangar over the site, so that it's all vaulted off, that people can come around and it decreased the radiation levels all around the rest of Chernobyl and in the areas of Russia that it was affecting. But the half-life, a lot of this shit takes forever. Even if you drop the levels down to 30, it's still present. So these people are going to get their photos and their videos to be trendy and cool, whatever. Chances are you're taking 10 years off your life by being stupid like this.
I mean, oh well.
Yeah. Oh well, indeed. I'm not arguing them to not go there. I'm just pointing out the fact that these idiots don't realize that you're going to shorten your lifespan by going there.
But it's just like, I feel like it's just like a race to the bottom at this point. You know what I mean? Like anything people can do to get on Instagram and get a hashtag going and like try and make some money. But like at the same point, look at this. We're talking about it. They got picked up by all these news articles. They got all these hits going to their page. So it's obviously working. Like they're probably making money off this stuff that, they'll be able to afford that third glove for that third hand they grow.
Right. Started at the bottom, staying here is the new logo. Started at the bottom and the whole team staying here. We're all racing to the bottom.
But I mean, like, dark tourism isn't like anything that's,
No, I get that.
New.
But dark tourism, think of the aspect. I mean, you're a fan of it. I watch those videos online too. Dark tourism and goes into old asylums, or maybe old war test bunkers kind of thing. Creepy shit like that. Going into an area that's radiated is a whole nother level of stupidity.
No, but I'm talking like high-end level dark tourists, like people who go to like Fukushima, Japan, and go to like nuclear bomb sites, and they go to like actual war zones and stuff like that. Like people do that now. There's a whole show on Netflix about it.
All right, what's it called?
It's called Dark Tour. It's called Dark Tourist.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and the guy goes everywhere. He goes to like South America, and he's like hanging out with drug lords, and they're showing how they like killed people and shit. And then he goes to Fukushima, and he's on a bus, and the radiation detector starts beeping, and they're like, the level that's safe is 0.06, and we're at 11.5 right now. So,
God damn.
Yeah, so you can still go to these places. Like, there are dark tourists, but they're not trying to make a hashtag go viral. They're not trying to make money off of it. They're like legitimately interested in it and the danger of going. It's different.
All right, you saw this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Fukushima. How bad is the radiation over there still?
Oh my God, it's fucking horrible, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude. There's like they're going down the street in the bus, and there's like a whole bunch of other like people on the bus, and everyone starts freaking out when he's like reading off the numbers on the Geiger counter, and then like military people come and pull the bus over. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing? You have to go back. Like, this is way too dangerous for anyone to be here." And all the guys are in suits. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Like, radiation levels extraordinarily high there.
Wow. Even after 50 years, yeah.
No. Fukushima is the one that melted down in like 2008.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking Hiroshima.
Not Hiroshima.
My
Fukushima
bad.
is the one that blew up.
Yes, that's all right. That's right.
Like 2008.
Yeah, okay. Fukushima, I get. I was thinking they were going where the bomb dropped in Hiroshima.
Oh, Hiroshima? No, I don't think there's like that much radiation like fallout there.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, wow, after 50-something years, wow. Wait, we're going to
Half-Life
2020?
that was on radioactive.
Wow, it's way more than 50 years. So we're going into 2020, right?
Yeah, dude, it was like 1943.
Yeah, so in another 23 years will be the 100th anniversary of the end of World War II.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about.
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
I was trying to think of like a stolen valor joke, but nothing was coming to me.
Yeah, you got nothing. I saw your brain working there.
Well, anyway,
I saw the thought bubble come up.
I can't wait to see the news pieces within a year of 1 year ago today that Chernobyl special on HBO came out and tourism jumped over in Russia to go over and visit the Chernobyl site. Now people have GoFundMes and crowdsourcing because they can't afford, they need chemo treatment. And no one, it's like, but I have cancer. You did it to yourself. It's not like you developed.
You need radiation treatment to treat your radiation.
Yes. You fucking idiot. You got what's coming to you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. Would you go, Eric? You're not going to go?
I would. No, I'll watch the videos online. I actually watched some of the videos online. They had drones going through there showing the old apartment buildings and schools and things like that. And I find that interesting. But yeah, I wouldn't go over there if I know it's going to shorten my lifespan by doing that. No need for me to be there. But I will watch people who do go there.
What a party pooper, Eric.
I'll send you on a one-way trip over there.
Well, I'm not going.
You can Skype in from Chernobyl.
All right. We'll do that.
Okay.
Live from Twitch.
There you go. Moving on. So something we talked about last week eerily became true this week. So last show, we talked about Uber offering helicopter service.
Yep.
And
Ubercopter.
Explain what the Ubercopter service was going to do.
It was just, to take between like Lower Manhattan and JFK and stuff like that. Just quick, get away from traffic and just fly there. It's going to be a lot faster.
Quick
type
jaunts. Thing. Well, then we toyed with the idea of, fully ever get to the point of being a full Uber helicopter where you can send for a helicopter and then you just have anybody who can be a pilot take you in a helicopter to go on these short little trips. And we were goofing around about, in a GTA 5 kind of style with the helicopters doing weird stunts and, skimming parks and buildings and what have you. Well, if you haven't heard, in New York City on Monday, was it? Or Tuesday? Monday, I think, right?
It was Monday, yeah.
Monday. The weather was not that great. It was very cloudy out. It was gray. It was sort of rainy. It was just not it wasn't proper conditions for air flight. But somebody did. and there's video online that you can find where he was flying very erratic over the Hudson River, and all of a sudden banked left into Manhattan and then disappeared in the clouds, so you didn't know what happened. Well, the helicopter attempted to land on a building, and it kind of crashed into the top of a building, and that building was a block away from where we used to do the show at Sirius XM.
Yeah.
A block away. Like, if Sirius was on 6th Avenue on 49th between 6th and 7th. This was on 50th between 6th and 7th. It was a block away.
Yeah, it was right there.
It was right there. And now more details have come out about this gentleman who was apparently, I don't know if he was a firefighter or if he was an ambulance guy, an EMT, and apparently a nice guy, but he shouldn't have been flying at that time. They don't really fully know why he was flying this erratic, other than the weather was really bad and he wasn't certified or licensed to fly in weather conditions like that.
Then why would you go into Manhattan?
They think that he wasn't aware of his surroundings, and he thought he was trying to land somewhere else and didn't realize he turned into Manhattan in the cloudiness that was surrounding the city. So unfortunately that happened for this gentleman, and they don't have a black box in the helicopter. They have little, like one would record on, little SD cards in a piece of computer equipment that they're hoping to salvage to try to get information for the flight path, and if he radioed to some kind of air traffic control to try to signal for help or information or whatever. They're hoping they can get information off those cards. Has not been revealed yet if they've been successful. But it made me think. When this happened, all I thought of was, God damn, Gittles called this. That if Uber helicopter...
Because those fucking, every time, dude, helicopters crash all the time in the city, dude. Like, it happens. Like, people don't pay attention to it, but they crash, like, all the fucking time.
Right.
But don't get in a helicopter. I think it's the same thing I said last week. Don't get in a helicopter in New York City.
Well, I think less people are going to do that. Oh, well.
So what should I call next? Because I did see something. I did have a thought about a meteor coming in, but I don't know. Probably not next week.
That could happen.
I think it's going to hit like sometime in September.
What would be so far-fetched that we could predict is going to happen by chance?
By chance? I don't know. I feel like the odds were just in the favor of a helicopter crash, unfortunately.
I'm going to say some sort of train derailment.
Yeah, that happens. That's easy. That's an easy guess. Trains derail all the time.
Yeah, but usually within a controlled situation.
Remember, like a week ago, there was also the out of control cruise ship that couldn't stop and crashed into.
In
so
Venice,
this is like a planes, trains, and automobiles type thing, and we already got like a cruise ship.
We already got the cruise ship,
and we got a
the
helicopter
now. I'm thinking train derailment, and it may not be New York, but it could be a city that has. When the subway comes out over above ground, and they have the above ground tracks, usually it's running on the side of a bridge, or in certain areas that they have train stops above ground, and then it goes immediately right back down. It comes up and down. It's never usually for a long stretch for a subway. A train, yes. The subway, no. But I'm thinking it might be a subway derailment where, I don't know, maybe it's going too fast and it's like the Wacky Races and it shoots out the tunnel and skips off the track and goes flying into, say, I don't know, some kind of 5K run that's going on in the city.
Dude. This is just ridiculous now. That's way too improbable.
I'm thinking of like the roller coaster game.
Yeah, you're thinking of like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Where you forget, Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you forget to build the rest of the tracks and you try to see if you can shoot them out of the park. That's what
you can do that. You can make your own speed jump. And
I know.
That.
I've done it many times when I should have been doing homework. But
see, I feel like you should go something like a little like crazier, but more possible. Like
so a little less cartoony.
Like a satellite falls out of the sky or some shit like that.
A Sirius XM satellite falls and hit and takes out a village in Paraguay.
Oh my God. Why does it have to take out a village? Why can't it just I'm like a satellite just falls from the sky? Eric's like it hits a bus full of nuns on their way to help children. You're like, oh god damn it.
Okay, it takes out.
Thing is, it would burn up on reentry, so it wouldn't take out anything.
Well, that's true. There was a video back in the late 2000s where there was one satellite. SiriusXM had a satellite that had a controlled burn that was coming in through the atmosphere, and I think it crashed into the Indian Ocean.
Yeah,
and it was retrieved from there. I'm just thinking of ridiculous things to do with it, though, because my mind goes too far. It's like I want cartoony style violence and destruction rather than have it be a serious thing. What if?
Oh, geez, here we go.
What if a giant foot just comes down on a Little League field, like a Monty Python kind of thing?
That would be fuck. I'm not gonna lie. If that happens this week, Eric, I will buy you a new Coke.
Okay, please do.
If a gigantic foot comes out of nowhere and just steps on an entire Little League game.
But it doesn't crash. It just comes down in Python-esque style and just goes...
Yeah, just splat.
It makes the
Doesn't
fart
make any
noise
sound
as it
effects, or
lands.
you just hear the bones of children breaking.
No, you hear, like in the Python show, it comes down... da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And
So it makes
the
a sound?
Makes that noise as the foot crushes a Little League game already in progress.
Oh, man. Who gets the game ball?
Well, it doesn't matter because they had to play the game because these are the teams that were going to come in third and fourth. This wasn't the championship game. This was
But
just
whose
the
foot is this? I want to know.
foot of God.
Oh, jeez, Eric.
F5.
Really?
The foot of God.
Foot of God. You couldn't come up with something better, like a giant monster. You went right to God, Eric.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it'd be like this. Wait a minute. Hold on. It's like, what's an F5? The foot of God.
Ugh. It's terrible. Terrible. Go to commercial.
All right, we'll go to break. We'll be right back.
No.
It's Eric Nagel with Erik and Giddles. More next. It's Eric Nagel. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook at It's Eric Nagel.
On your phone with the iHeartRadio app.
And on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos.
Hey, this is Miley Cyrus, and you're listening to E-Rock.
Hey, welcome back to It's Eric Nagel. It's Eric and Giddles for segment 2.
Two?
For segment 2.
Two! Is that how we do it?
The Deuce.
Segment dos.
Looking at the box office from last week, coming in at number 1, our buddy Brian Lynch. His the sequel to his smash hit movie, The Secret Life of Pets, with Secret Life of Pets 2. Coming in at number 1, just destroying the box office. Number 2, X-Men's Dark Phoenix. Did not do that well. It was a horrible movie. I'll get into that in just a second.
I hear it was fantastic.
Number 3, the live-action Disney Aladdin. Number 4, Godzilla King of Monsters. And number 5, Rocket Man. Those are your top 5 movies. If you want to look at the next top 5, John Wick still in there. Even Avengers Endgame is still in the top 10.
I'm surprised it's not still in like the top 5. I thought it was going to stay up there like a lot longer.
It is just a hair away from beating Avatar as the highest grossing movie of all time.
I mean, it'll get there.
It'll get
I think
there.
it'll get there.
Oh yeah. So it's pretty close to $3 billion. The production budget and everything for it was $350 million. I think they made their money back.
Yeah, they made that back. Just a tiny bit.
I think they did okay.
Dude, if your budget's $315 million, you make back almost like 6 times your budget. Like, that's pretty fucking great.
I love when the people say, aren't people bored of superhero movies? Isn't that burnt out? Aren't people tired of this stuff? It's so boring. No, when every movie is now either encroaching or far exceeding $1 billion, and by every movie I mean the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
even the DC movies, people don't like them. They think they're kind of horrible or the storytelling, whatever, but they do make their money back. They're not complete disasters, right? And even if you don't like the movie, I'm glad to see movies like that least do well financially, because that means they'll keep making more of them. And there's your answer. When every Marvel movie is making almost or exceeding $1 billion, they're going to keep making them, and people are not getting tired of them. They're going
to keep making them.
You might be getting tired of them, and that's fine. You don't have to watch them. There's plenty of other things that are coming out that are not just superhero movies that you can go and watch. But these movies, nobody's tired of them. They're making too much money each time. They're not going to stop. On the day when an Avengers movie comes out and it only makes $300 million, then they'll look at it and go, maybe it's time to start wrapping this thing up.
And only if the budget was over that, because $300 million is still really good.
But if the budget was a $356 million movie and they just made almost $300 million, then they'll have to reevaluate.
Yeah, then they'll have to reevaluate. But as long as they're making a profit, they'll keep making them.
Yeah, so that they aren't going anywhere. Opening this week at the box office, the only two movies that I saw or even gave a damn about as far as the interest in looking at this, one is the new Shaft movie with Samuel L. Jackson, and Men in Black International, which is Men in Black 4. And
yeah, that one looks interesting.
I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, and they're not good. Men in Black got a 26, and Shaft got a 38.
Oof.
Yeah.
That bad?
That bad.
But, like, is it just, like, bad critical reviews, or is it, like, it's still a fun movie because those are supposed to just be fun summer movies?
Well, here's what's different now, because the audience score jumped from the other day when I was looking at this. So the critic score is at 26, but the audience score is at 75. And I read stuff online just through the hashtag for the movie. A lot of people said, look, if you don't give, there's major plot holes in the story, and some stuff doesn't even get answered. But they said if you don't give a shit about that and just want to see the action, it's an enjoyable movie. A lot of other people just said it's very boring. So it wasn't saying it was awful. They were just saying they were disappointed because it was boring. The Shaft movie, on the other hand, if this is still the same, right? Oh, no, that audience score jumped too, because that was doing really poorly. Shaft, the critics have it at 38, but the audience score is at 85 now. So I guess more people got a chance to see it.
They're fun summer movies. Like I feel like movies like that you have to like critically grade differently, you know?
Yeah, I thought, and that's why I went to look earlier in the week. I'm like, oh, these look like they're going to be fun. This looks like it should be okay, and they weren't. But like Dark Phoenix had 23% for the critics, but 60% for the audience.
I still heard it was a pile of shit.
It was. I went and saw X-Men Dark Phoenix, which is the last story in the Fox Marvel universe, which was the X-Men.
So can you just go into it blank, be like you've never seen them and just watch it, or do you have to know what happened in previous ones?
No, you could go into it blank, because if you don't know enough about the character Jean Grey, who eventually becomes Dark Phoenix, they rehash, or not rehash, but they retell her origin story of growing up.
Okay.
And why she is the way she is. They show you all that in the movie. So it's pretty much her history leading to her being absorbed into this this solar flare, this dark matter, when they were in space trying to rescue astronauts from a space shuttle up there. This electrical storm, this impulse hit the shuttle as everybody else got out but her, and she wound up absorbing all this power that makes her Dark Phoenix. Yeah. Now, the problem with this and why it was so awful, because we've talked about this movie, they had to do so many reshoots. This movie's been delayed. It had to do so many reshoots because the original testing they had, people said, was so bad, they had to go back and reshoot part of the movie. Even after it was done, they had to open it up again to go reshoot stuff. Now,
there were scenes in the trailer that I was like, ooh, that doesn't even, it's done yet.
Right.
Like, it's just bad.
So watching the movie and researching the whole original Dark Phoenix story so I can know the origin and how it compares and contrasts to the written material, the majority of the written material had to be eliminated because it's in the Marvel universe, the MCU universe. So the origin story for Dark Phoenix has some stuff of it, but then they had to change everything else because it involves the Kree, which we were just introduced to in Captain Marvel, and going forward into the next phase, they're going to be a big part of storytelling for the MCU. That's all part of there. And there was one other thing that's escaping my memory, but it was part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they couldn't use it for the origin of the story. So if you have to eliminate a majority of the origin story just because of the rights, why bother telling that story?
Yeah, just do a different story.
Do a different story. Do a different thing.
Like, yeah, why do it half-assed? Like,
Right.
it doesn't make any sense.
So that's what they did. They had to change the origin story of what happens with her becoming Dark Phoenix. So there was no point. And you're watching this and like, this was just kind of, it was It was meh at best. Even the action when they got to Magneto, and I'm a big Magneto fan, I was excited, was really nothing. Like all of a sudden she outpowered him like he had nothing, which was great to show, a test of strength, if you will. But then he was just kind of tossed off to the side and made to look weak and pathetic.
Ugh.
When Magneto's one of the more powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. And they just tried to threw him off to the side like he was Quicksilver, like he was something like that. The movie was disappointing all around, and people were waiting for the credits. And I was telling people like, there's no cutscenes, there's nothing in the credits. Well, maybe something after. I said, this is the last movie. They're done. It's not continuing. They're not tying it into.
They don't need to.
There's no after credit stuff. I promise you. Well, we're gonna just sing it around. Okay, cool, no problem. But I was trying to do them a kindness and give them the courtesy of, because people are used to watching Marvel movies and staying through the credits to see little secrets and little things. It's like, it's not that kind of Marvel movie. They're done with this. There's nothing continuing. It's not tying into anything. I promise you. But they didn't want to listen, and to each their own. I was just trying to be nice.
I mean, I'm probably, if it's as bad as everyone says, I might go see it.
It's not a good bad movie though.
It's just a bad movie.
It's not even. It's just it's boring.
Ugh, all right.
It's boring and it's cheesy. Like some of the stuff that used to be like, if you watch some of those older X-Men movies from the late 90s into 2000, when it was Patrick Stewart, when it was Rebecca Romaine Stamos as Mystique, when it was those original characters, and you look at some of the fight sequences and the explosions, it's kind of cheesy, but it fits the time of the movie. And you're okay with it, but you're still seeing that kind of cheesiness and those effects in a movie now, and you're like, this is not going to work.
Yeah, it's just not going to work. I mean, everything I saw from that just looked terrible.
No,
I don't know.
So it's not worth your time. Next weekend is Child's Play, the reboot with Mark Hamill as Chucky, and you also have Toy Story 4. Which is, it's probably going to dominate for the next few weeks, because even after that,
it's gonna be huge.
Even after that, I'm looking at the rest of June here. There's another chapter in the Conjuring story with Annabelle Comes Home. That's the following weekend, and then to round out the month,
they're just trying to conjure up as much money as they fucking can with those movies. Like they are just not good.
No. And then rounding up the end of June, the only other movie that might have some sort of interest is Yesterday. It's that movie where everybody forgot the Beatles except this one guy. Did you see the trailer for this?
No.
Something happened in the world and everybody forgot that the Beatles existed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Except this one dude. So he's now becoming famous by using Beatles songs as his own.
What a dick.
And he becomes like this huge, fantastic star. And they're like, oh, what's this new song you're calling? And he's like, Hey Jude or something. He's playing it on the piano. Oh, yes. He's like, this is quite good. Like, these are huge mega hits, and the whole world forgot that the Beatles existed. But
I'm sure it's going to end with everyone remembering that the Beatles do exist. They're going to be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right. And then nothing until really the next movie after next weekend for Toy Story 4 is Spider-Man Far From Home, if you need your superhero fix. And this is the last Marvel movie for the year.
Last one,
because this is the third one.
Huh.
So Spider-Man Far From Home for the July 4th weekend, you have that. Speaking of Marvel stuff for the DVD releases, Captain Marvel is out on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, digital, all your however you watch movies. It's now available for you to consume. Any other movie stuff here before we get to TV? Oh, you know what I did on the weekend?
No.
I was just relaxing. I was like, I didn't want to watch the movies that were on like FX or HBO or anything like that. So I decided to plow through the Indiana Jones saga.
Yes. Always a good time.
There is something that I have appreciated now on a brand new level. Watching the original 3 movies back to back to back is one of the finer things that you can treat yourself with.
They're great movies.
They're amazing. Now, when I posted that I watched all 3, I got people saying, "Did you watch it in the order of the timeline or the chronological release order?" I said the release order.
Yeah.
And people said, "Well, why didn't you watch it in the time frame?" I'm like, "Because it doesn't matter. I know Temple of Doom is a prequel, but who cares? It doesn't affect the story one bit. It's just a different girl he's involved with. Who cares?"
Yeah, that's it.
It's a great story. And then I forgot how great Last Crusade was. I love Last Crusade. It was so good.
Jay.
Junior, don't call me that. It's one of the better things you can treat yourself with is if you've got nothing to do on a Saturday or a Sunday, watch all 3 movies back to back. It's so much fun. And even though some of it's a little campy, because again, the first movie was 81. So It's got those 80s feels to it, but there were effects where they built the sets. So it's not like you're seeing shitty CGI for the time. You're just seeing campy sets and stunt work, which you can still appreciate for the fact that this is all happening in real time.
The cool trick photography they do in Last Crusade, at the end with where he's got to do the leap of faith, the walk across.
Oh yeah.
And the camera moves and then you see that it's a different, there's an actual path there. That's awesome.
Because funny you bring that up, because I'm watching that and I'm thinking, is this where they got the 3D art thing from? Remember where you have to stare at the art for a while and then all of a sudden it just appears?
Yeah.
That's what happens in that leap of faith.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, you're staring at it for a while and all of a sudden it just shows up and it's right there.
Yeah, it's cool.
But they're such great movies. All 3 of them, they're so much fun and they're great for kids too. If they can handle some kind of gun violence, you're not really seeing a lot of death. Maybe,
child slavery in number 2, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But if your kid's close to 10, you'll be fine.
But it's got a good ending for the kids. The kids get out.
Yeah, and they start beating all the people that were whipping them.
Yeah.
It's just smashing their heads in with rocks.
Yeah, it's great. They
Fun
murder
had by
adults.
all. But they're so good. And then I even went as far as said, you know what? I'm going to give Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls another watch.
No, why would you do that?
Now, here's what I've discovered.
Ugh, what did you discover, Copernicus?
I watched the movie, and in some parts, it's not bad. Where it gets bad is the overuse of Shia LaBeouf. When he's being
the
introduced...
monkey scene where he's swinging from the trees?
Thank you. That's where I go, this is where it completely shits the bed. Before it gets to the other stuff with the skulls and the spaceship and all that shit... where he's swinging with monkeys to try to catch up with the caravan.
Oh, so stupid.
Fucking dumb. But up until that point when he's just playing a foil to Indy and fighting with other people, it's fine. He's not that really that annoying. He's not taking away from everything, and the story's moving kind of okay. That monkey swinging through the vine scene is complete bullshit.
Oh, it's awful.
Then when you get to the Mayan temple, and they're going through all of this stuff, still fits with the lore of the story. Everything makes sense. There's nothing out of place, even though alien stuff. But in our real society, there's a lot of people that believe that aliens are tied to the Mayan culture, the Incan culture, the Egyptian pyramids.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that by any means.
No,
it was everything else that was fucking stupid.
Yeah, that part, when I'm watching that, I go, you really have to dissect the movie to see where it's fucking stupid. And if it didn't have those scenes in there, this movie probably would have fared a lot better. And also if it wasn't Shia LaBeouf. If it was somebody else.
Oh.
One of the saving graces of that movie, and I'm so glad they did this because I forgot. So at the end of Kingdom Skull, or King, whatever it is, Crystal Skull, Indy gets married to Karen Allen.
Yeah.
Her name's Mary Ann. I forgot what her character's name is. Mary Ann something or Mary something. So they get married. And it's revealed, in the movie that the Shia LaBeouf character is Indy's son. They get married, they walk off, and they're coming down the aisle. The wedding party's leaving the church, and Shia LaBeouf sees Indiana Jones' hat laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And I forget, I'm like, oh, they did a pass the torch moment, right? And I was like, no. And so he's going to pick up the hat like he's going to be the new Indiana, which you saw at the beginning of Last Crusade, where he was dressed as a Boy Scout and he's stealing the cross from the guy who he stole it from. Looks like what Indiana Jones developed into, right?
Yep.
The leather jacket and the hat. So Shia LaBeouf picks up the hat like he's going to put it on, and Harrison Ford snacks it out of his hand and puts it on his head and gives him like a shit-eating grin and then walks away. I was like, saving moment for that movie, because I forgot all about that. I was
I
like,
forgot about
they
that too.
didn't pass the fucking torch to him. So now when they make this fifth one that's coming out, Shia LaBeouf is fucking blacklisted and he's lost his fucking mind. He's not going to be in this new movie. If they recast the son, it's going to be fine. Nobody's going to care about that going into this new movie, that they recast the son, because nobody liked Shia LaBeouf in that role to begin with. So they're more willing to give it a chance that they'll get it right this time, that this fifth one could be a nice bookend to the first three. That could be a far stretch, but I'm being hopeful.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want another one. I don't think we need one. I don't know what they would do for storyline. Maybe they would do like one of the canceled storylines. Ever read about like Temple of Doom was supposed to be about Indiana Jones finding like a dinosaur island, and then they changed it.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I read that online on the history of it.
So that's they probably took that. All right, look, Spielberg was involved with it, so he took that and made it Jurassic Park.
Well, Jurassic Park was based on a book.
I understand, but I'm saying if that was supposed to be the sequel or part of Temple of Doom, they probably took elements from that, because Spielberg worked on that movie, probably took it and put it into Jurassic Park. Even I know it's based on Michael Crichton's book. But if there was a dinosaur island and other stuff, it's probably he took those ideas that didn't get used and put them into Jurassic Park.
I mean, yeah, probably.
It makes sense. Why not? It fits the whole scheme of everything.
But yeah, I just don't know why they need to keep going back and remaking these movies or like making new ones. Just like make something else. Make something else.
They're doing this because if I read it right, Harrison Ford wants to do this. Like, he didn't want to do Star Wars when they were bringing back Episode 7. They paid him a lot of money. They said, you need to do this. And he said, on the terms that he gets killed. He did not want to keep doing this. He doesn't like a lot of these roles that everybody loves him for. But he loves Indiana Jones, and he wanted to do another Indiana Jones. So if he wants to do it, people are going to go see it, just one, because it's Harrison Ford, and two, it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So it'll make the money, whether it's a good story or not. Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls made the money. It wasn't a financial disaster.
No,
people just didn't like the story.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm itching for another Indiana Jones. And I forgot, the whole point of this was I forgot how enjoyable all three of those movies were, especially if you watch them back to back to back. If you have that kind of time to sit there and do that, or even if it's just enjoy one, they're just a lot of fun.
Oh, they're fun movies. Yeah, for sure.
And that seems to be missing from a lot of movies. The superhero movies and those action movies, I love them. They're great. John Wick. And I'm going to explore the Fast and the Furious this summer because I know a lot of people love them. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I won't. I don't know.
Oh, they're fun. You'll like it.
But they're fun movies. They got to do more fun movies. And it was just
that's what I go to see. That's why I see bad movies, because they're usually fun.
Yeah, it was
they're
like
fun movies. They're ridiculous.
It was like comfort food, if you will, going back and sitting there and watching those movies. Anyway. Moving on, streaming stuff that's going on here. A bunch of Netflix updates for you. So, as we have said, Black Mirror is out, season 4. And Season 5. And I watched all 3 episodes. I've been talking about the Striking Vipers episode with the 2 dudes connecting sexually via virtual reality.
Yeah.
And look, it's not far-fetched. It was really awkward to watch, but it was not far-fetched. I was thinking about it. I'm like, nope, this could be a thing in the near future. I
mean, yeah, like that doesn't surprise me at all. Did you ever watch like those videos of people in like VR chats and stuff like that? It's so fucking weird.
Yeah. But it was a good episode, and it was it stars Anthony Mackie, who is now, spoiler, the new Captain America. So it's just weird to see the captain getting some side action.
Yeah, like that episode didn't bother me. It just didn't feel very Black Mirror-ish. It was just like, it felt like they were trying to do like a San Junipero type thing again. And I was just like, all right.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah, it does feel like
and I was
that.
just, like the ending was a little weird. It was like, oh, okay, so you're allowed to have virtual sex with your friend on your birthday, and I'm going to go out and have the actual sex with somebody. Like, what was the ending to that? I thought at first it was ending with she got a video game thing and she was going to play and get like in on a threesome type thing.
Right.
But then it ends with her like, no, I'm going to go to the bar and like cheat.
Yeah. So I guess when she brought...
Or not cheat, but like allowed.
I guess when she got... she had to bail him out of jail and forced him to explain what the fuck's been going on for the last several months and why their relationship was really dissolving. That in order to save their marriage, if you will, they had to agree or they came to this understanding that once a year on his birthday, he was allowed to go online, like you said, hook up with his friend, and she was allowed to take her ring off and go out and actually hook up in real life. So I guess it was just saying, what he was doing is just as crucial, hurtful as her going out and sleeping with somebody else. So to them, I guess it balanced out that it was on the same level of what he was doing equals what she was doing.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was just a weird ending. I didn't really care for the episode was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have like too many problems with it, but it was just like,
I did tweet out, I'll never look at Street Fighter the same.
But it's funny, I was watching it with a friend, and like the second like they were in the video game and he was just like, check out my boobs. I was like, yo, they're totally gonna fuck. And she's like, what? And then they did. And I was like, yeah, well, how did you not see that coming?
You are a soothsayer, Giddles. Helicopter crashes, video game fucking, you're covering it all.
I mean, things are just predictable, man. You just gotta keep your eyes open.
The second episode was about the dangers of social media on society, and not just the content of being of people posting stuff on there. It was the act of constantly checking and posting on there, which caused a death that this one gentleman never got over, and it led him to the point that he kidnapped somebody from that company in order to get the creator of the company on the phone in order to, I guess, I took it like confessional, like almost to cleanse his soul or to confess what he had did wrong so that people know how
what
bad
happened.
Yeah, know what happened and know the direness of his decisions, that he, the repercussions of what he did. He had to get it out there and make sure everybody knew. Whether it did anything he didn't care about, he needed to tell that guy that, look, this is what your service did, and this is what it turned me into, and this is what I did. I needed to tell you this. And then after that, he didn't care if he lived at that point, which I kind of get. It was more social commentary on the using of social media, not the effects of social media as far as what your words are saying. It's the actual act of doing that's causing problems as well.
But that was like only one aspect of what the episode was about.
What was the other?
Well, the other aspect of the entire episode was how the police and FBI were absolutely useless, and the social media company had all the information, knew exactly where this guy was, knew everything about him before they knew anything. Like the FBI, they knew nothing about this guy. And meanwhile, the Facebook of the group is like, this is how you should talk to him so you could try and negotiate, because we know every single detail of his life. And that was the big takeaway for me of the episode. Like the whole car crash and main plot was like, that was the side plot. The main plot to me was
the B story,
the overreach of the social media companies and how much information they have and how much access they have. Because even when Topher Grace's character is just like, well, screw all you guys, I'm going into God mode. And he just presses the button. He's like, I'm just going to get any information I need right this second.
Yeah, he bypassed everything.
That was the big takeaway for me from the episode.
Good point.
Because that shit's scary.
That's very scary.
Because that could happen if there was no, privacy rules. But also, like, that episode is teased in or that company Smithereens is teased in so many episodes, like on news tickers and stuff like that, that it was interesting that we finally got to see what they were.
Right. So they were
because like Smith, because it's like there was like a news ticker, I forgot, I think it was like Hated in the Nation or something like that. It just said Smithereens CEO to face like harsh questioning over Russian bots, like, you know, CEO of like Smithereens a question of this and blah blah blah, which makes sense why he keeps going to all these retreats where he doesn't have to deal with anything.
The head of Smithereen was Topher Grace.
Yeah, and he actually did a pretty good job. Like, I thought he played the role well.
And then the third episode of the season was the Miley Cyrus episode, where we've seen this before, where subconscious was transferred into an AI unit.
And we've seen it a lot on the show.
Yeah, but in this case, it wasn't just like the body was dying and they managed to salvage the person by putting them on a hard drive and putting them through a program. It was somebody trying to kill the host, the regular person, but the consciousness was also backed up on these little toy units that were being sold in the show that were supposed to be her personality, and they had these blockers that once it got fried, all of a sudden they were just hard drive backups of her entire being.
Yeah.
And while they thought the body was dying, they were racing to try to save the actual person. Now she's awake and conscious. She got saved. The device is awake and conscious. So it's actually two of the personalities living at the same time. But the ending was this is what I was thinking about what you were saying, that they were being too aware of themselves. That the attraction to Black Mirror was that in simpler terms, it's a very Twilight Zone vibe, but it's technologically based.
Yeah.
But the other appealing thing to it was that there weren't always happy endings. It was very dystopian. It was very grim, futuristic settings, that not everything happened in a happy way. Not everything moved and progressed in the right direction. It was showing you what could happen, and this could be a very real reality for us. The Miley Cyrus episode was very far-fetched and then had a happy 90s like rock movie ending.
Oh, so stupid.
Yeah, where she's on stage and she's playing a version of, what was it, a Nirvana song she was covering, right?
No, she's covering Nine Inch Nails, Head Like a Hole.
Not at the end, though. Was the end was the end also 9 Inch Nails?
Yeah, that was the actual cover of Nine Inch Nails. The beginning was the reversed lyrics of it, where she actually had happier lyrics to it. But at the very end was the actual cover of Head Like a Hole.
Okay.
With the sister playing in the band and everything, and the stupid ending.
Right. You are right. It sucked. It really was not terrible. Good. It was dumb. And the season was very disappointing. And when I
thought it was gonna go so much darker, because like, you know, there's like the scene where the robot like starts talking to the other sister, and it's like, oh, tell me about your mom. It's like asking like really personal, like creepy questions, and I thought it was gonna be like a
Smithereens thing,
Homer Krusty doll type thing, where like, you know, the one sister, it's totally normal to her, but then when she leaves the room, and it's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, like almost like a child's play thing,
right?
So I thought maybe it was gonna take that turn. I thought that they were going to, kill off Ashley, whatever her name is. And then what I thought was going to happen was that the robots that all the girls were buying were going to scan them to find someone who looked like her to be a replacement, and then like kidnap her or something like that. I thought it was going to take a cooler, darker turn like that, but instead it went Gem in the, holograms.
It
and
did go Gem.
Stupid.
That is a great comparison. It was Gem in the holograms.
It was so stupid. It was a literal hologram. It was a literal fucking hologram. Like, it was so stupid.
So overall, very kind of disappointed with season 5 of Black Mirror. But here's the thing. They were supposed to be a bigger season order, but Bandersnatch was taking on to be too big of a project for them. So they had to cut the season down and delay it a bit so they could finish Bandersnatch. And I think I liked Bandersnatch a lot. I'm glad they took the chance to do a story like that.
Yeah,
Whether
same.
you enjoyed it or not, you got to appreciate the fact that they took a chance in changing the way television is done and the way you tell a story. Hopefully they do other things like that. They come up with another new concept, or maybe they do another choose your adventure thing. Would be a welcome change going forward. But for now, what we have here, for season 5, it was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I didn't really care for it. But I mean, that being said, even those episodes weren't that great. I was still like at least entertained for most of them. A bad Black Mirror episode is still better than a lot of other shows.
That is also a fair point. Some other Netflix updates for you. Netflix announced they're renewing Lucifer for season 5, and it's going to be its final season, which is disheartening because I love that show, and I thought by getting to Netflix, they got season 4. They were going to do season 5. I thought we had a few more seasons coming, but season 5 is going to be the final. So I'm glad there's one more season. Just a little disheartening that they're ending it. Netflix also announced that they renewed one of our favorite series, Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah.
For season 2.
Very excited.
Now, if you've never seen Love, Death, and Robots, obviously on Netflix, like we said, but Brian, give them a little idea of what that series is.
It's an animated anthology series. Most episodes either have love, death, or robots in it, and each short is anywhere between like 6 minutes and like 20 minutes. And they're all kind of Black Mirror-esque in a way, where it's kind of like futuristic dystopian situations of technology gone wrong or the world gone wrong, and usually a pretty dark twist by the end of each episode. So if you haven't seen it, highly recommended. I think the first 2 episodes on there, if you're not hooked by those 2, then you might not get hooked on it. But it's a really great show.
Was the second episode the 3 robots and the cat?
Yes.
Okay,
the first one's like the mech fighting one. That's kind of like the not the monster fighting one.
Right. It's a bit like Japanese anime in American setting, kind of.
Yeah, that one's awesome. Yeah, and then second one's the 3 tourist robots, which I hope becomes just a Pixar movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it feels very Pixar, but if it's very snide, sarcastic remarks and dialogue. It's more dialogue based than it is. Cool effects or horrible story or amazing story. It's just these robots that seem to be just going on like they went to a zoo. They're going on a tour, some kind of tour, just exploring an area and just having a conversation back and forth with each other, which is actually very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's very R-rated. So if it was anything, it would be Pixar.
R.
Get it? No, not like a pirate, like a rating.
I can do whatever I want.
Yar.
Also ties into Black Mirror because one of the episodes has Topher Grace in it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
The freezer episode.
Yeah, the freezer episode.
Which, by the way, that freezer episode, did you not automatically think of the Simpsons episode?
It's all I thought about the entire time that episode happened. I was just like, the Simpsons did this. That's all I said the whole time. I was like, this is entertaining, but Simpsons literally did this.
Yes, and it was a Treehouse of Horror
and
story.
Futurama did it also.
Oh, they did it too?
Remember with Bender and he gets like the little universe stuck on him and then like...
You're right, they did.
He becomes like the god type person. Like it's very similar, but like it's been done numerous times all by Matt Groening.
They found so in this story, they found a civilization that's living in their freezer.
Their old freezer.
And if they close the freezer door and they open it up, it jumps time. And now like they're more developed. So you see them as like Neanderthals and then they get into the industrial age and then like they keep shutting the door, coming back. Yeah, stuff's going on and it's really weird. But yeah, it's an old Simpsons Treehouse of Horror story. But the whole series front to back, there really is not a bad episode. You may like others better than some of them, but they really weren't bad.
And the ones that you don't like, they'll be over in like 5 minutes anyway. So just sit through it and you'll like it.
So that's coming back for season 2. We're very excited. This Friday, this one's interesting because I can't really figure out. I was watching Conan and Adam Sandler was on. So he has a new movie that's coming out on Friday called Murder Mystery.
Okay.
And he plays a cop. And the one clip they showed was he's on one of those planes that like the double-decker international planes, and they have the private bar for first class. And he can't go in there, but his wife's talking to another guy, so he's trying to figure out if she's cheating or not or something. But it's supposedly like, I think it's a newer take on some of those old murder movies, like Murder on the Orient Express. From what I gathered, the little stuff I could read online, I'm not 100% sure what the movie's about, but I'm intrigued to see what it is.
What's it called again?
Murder Mystery.
All right.
It's
Netflix?
It's on Netflix. It's an Adam Sandler production.
Because he had that huge movie deal with them and make like 40 movies.
He had an 8-picture deal, yeah. So that's
All
coming
right, I'll
out.
check it out.
Also this Friday on Netflix, the final season 3 of Jessica Jones from Marvel. I actually enjoy Jessica Jones more than the others, so I'm going to watch that and see how this whole thing ends before Marvel completely leaves the Netflix platform. Netflix also renewed Russian Doll. If you haven't seen that, it's actually pretty good. With
Yeah, I heard it's great. I
Natasha
haven't seen
Lyonne from American Pie, and I think she's in Orange is the New Black as well. That's an 8-episode. Sorry, no, that's not an 8-episode. That was 4 or 6 episodes. Season 2 is going to have 8 episodes. It's actually a really good show. You should check it out. And then, of course, Stranger Things coming in July. And I'm trying to see if anything else for TV. Oh, the last thing. So remember Swamp Thing? We were talking about Swamp Thing for the DC Universe, which is their streaming service. Canceled after 1 episode. And to this date, people still don't fully know why. You're hearing rumors of behind-the-scenes production issues, and then it's no, it was studio issues over money. Like, nobody has a clear-cut answer as to why all of a sudden this got yanked so fast. So Swamp Thing was canceled after 1 episode, but they had originally it was a 3-season plan for this show. They were really going to spread out the story and get very elaborate and detailed. But despite the cancellation, they've assured that they going to air all 10 episodes for the first season that came out. So if you're a fan of the Swamp Thing property, it's not just the 1 episode and done. They're going to show the entire first season, but it was canceled after the airing of the first episode, which is quite unheard of nowadays.
Yeah, so know that you probably won't get more, but who knows? If enough of you watch it and make a stink, maybe someone will pick it up.
In regular television stuff, Nickelodeon's bringing back Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's a 3-part series which will debut in October on Nickelodeon, and also a movie scheduled for 2020. Now, I only say that because a lot of nostalgia is out there for the original series, because a lot of people grew up on it on Nickelodeon. I don't know if the reboot or the continuation of it now is going to apply to anybody here listening, but just bringing that out there because I know a lot of people did like that series, and they're going to have a movie with it in there. So maybe you have kids, if you can get I think the old ones are out on a box set or at least on demand.
I think so, yeah.
Show your kids the old series before the new series comes out, and who knows, if you're watching it with your kids, you may enjoy it.
The old series is still pretty good. I've watched some episodes on YouTube. They're floating around there, and I rewatched them, and I'm like, man, this show, you know what? It's cheesy looking back on it now, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. You said you watched documentary Now, the Wild Wild Country episode?
Oh, yeah, they have the new season they put up, and they did a 2-episode spoof of Wild Wild Country.
Right.
They called it Batshit Country, and it's really funny. So if you enjoyed the documentary Wild Wild Country, the spoof of it is hilarious. And Owen Wilson plays the OSHA character. He plays, the lead, and everyone who's in it's great. It's really funny.
The show originates on the IFC channel. So if you have IFC or if you have access to the on-demand, you can watch all the seasons there. But Documentary Now is also available on Netflix. Not the current season, but the past seasons are available on Netflix. So if you want to check this out, Bill Hader is part of it, right?
Yep.
Is he one of the creators of it, or is he just in a lot of the episodes?
I think he's one of the creators, and he's in episodes. Helen Mirren's in every episode. She opens everyone up.
And Fred Armisen, right?
Yep, Fred Armisen's in it. Lots of people in that crew are in it.
All right. So there's your TV updates for you. E3 stuff, if you want to go over that fast. If not, we can do that next week. What do you think?
Might as well just save it for next week, because I could do some more research, because there's still stuff coming out today. There's still going to be stuff coming out tomorrow. So let's just wait till we get it all in.
I will point out there's a game called 12 Minutes by Xbox. It's 12 minutes to save the world. Time is waiting.
Okay.
Got 12 minutes to save the world. No hesitating.
Is there a trailer for 12 minutes to save the world?
There is a trailer. It's up on our... a lot of these trailers for these new games are up on... I've been posting them on our Facebook as they've been coming out.
Okay, I'll check them out.
It's something goes on between a couple. There might have been a murder. The police arrest his wife, and he's stuck in this room of their apartment, and he's living constantly a 12-minute loop of his life. And you got to fight through the story, I guess, in order to figure out what the hell is going on. That's really all that it explained, but it looks interesting.
Okay, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, all the trailers. Go to our Facebook page. It's Erik Nagel. Like the page. We've been updating a lot of the trailers on there. Next week, I'm going to try to see if we can get Brian Shea on the show to talk about some of these trailers, because some of the stuff looks really good, and other stuff is just, I think, is fan service at this point. Because Xbox said there was 30 games coming to their Game Pass, and then they had 60 games coming out altogether. Like, there's a lot of shit coming out now.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of shit coming out.
Xbox, PlayStation has a bunch. Wait, did we see the PlayStation push yet?
I think PlayStation was today, I think.
All right, I haven't seen the PlayStation stuff. Nintendo had a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, the new Zelda games.
Not one, but two.
Sequels.
Yeah, two Zelda games. One's a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, and the other one is called Link's Awakening, which feels a little like the Game Boy version of Zelda, and it feels a little bit of the cartoony fun of Wind Maker. That one looked awesome too. I'm like, both these games look amazing. Two Zelda games. The Contra Anniversary Collection's coming out. It's 10 versions of Contra over time. The Game Boy versions, the Nintendo versions, the Super Nintendo versions, the GameCube version. Any of the ones that they came out, all 10 games are going to be in this collection.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then Luigi's Mansion was another. There's a bunch of games that we'll get into. We'll have to do.
There's so much stuff, because there's the Cyberpunk game that looks awesome.
Yes. With
there's
Keanu Reeves. What's the game with what's his name from The Walking Dead that nobody really knows?
Death Stranding.
That nobody really knows what the story is.
Death Stranding. Yeah, that one looks weird. There's lots of just announcements. So new Xbox announcements, and AMD was releasing their new computer chips. So there's just so much new stuff that it's too much to go into today, because like I said, there's still stuff coming out today, still stuff coming out tomorrow. We should just have a whole show to just dedicate it to it.
All right, so let's do that next week then.
Let's do that.
We'll do that. And what this music means, we need to get out of here, so let's do that. Giddles, what are your plugs? What do you have? Giddlebase
on the Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live, and Twitch. I'm gonna do some video game streaming and some cooking streaming starting up shortly, hopefully in July. And yeah, that's it for me. No takedowns, summertime. Gonna keep it quiet.
All right. For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board on the social media. I have another show that I've been doing with Brian Johnson from AMC's Comic Book Men called Would You Kindly? And we just did our second episode this week, so you can check it out. It's a TV show. You can check out the audio version or the TV version if you want. If you go to compoundmedia.com and subscribe there, you can watch this show, and we're having a good time doing that. But for this show, it's Erik Nagel across the board on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us, and subscribe on YouTube for a edited version of this show that's there. The full version you can always get on the iHeart feed, the iTunes feed, wherever you get podcasts. And if you want to leave a voicemail for future episodes, 651-SMITHERS is the phone number, 651-764-8437. And I think that about does that. So until the next time, everybody, be excellent to each other.
And have a wonderful time.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.
We can't afford Imagine, so just imagine this is Imagine. Imagine, imagine, no religion, nothing matters, everything is bad.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For ways to listen to the show, go to itseriknagel.com. And remember to tell two friends so they can tell two friends.
And they can tell two friends. And they can tell two
And those
friends.
two friends
And
can
those
tell
two
two
friends
friends.
can tell two more friends.
Well,